Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. We have two 40% alcohol brandy, and that's about the only thing they have in common. The first one is Martell V.S. 3 stars. See the 3 stars, 3-star brandy. And 3-star brandy is the same as V.S. In England, they use the designation 3 stars, 4 stars, 5-star brandy. Okay. Say, what about 1-star brandy? I don't know if they have that. Okay, so there's the Three Hammers, 1715, the last year of Louis XIV when he passed away. Okay, Martell VS. Now they make many Martells, but this is the basic model, running $40.99 at Total Wine right now. Now I got this small bottle, a little bit more than a quarter size bottle, 200 milliliters, because 2 times 4 is 8. And 800 milliliter bottles, they don't have those. Okay, but anyway, it was very cheap. I bought 2. I'm down to the end of it here. I can do a few more challenges with it, though. This is a cognac brandy. Even though it's a VS, a lower grade than the V.S.O.P, it's probably going to easily win. Okay, now here's the main one here I've been doing challenges with. This is Classic Club V.S.O.P. Very smooth old pale, aged 2 to 4 years instead of just, 4 to 6 years. V.S.O.P 4 to 6 years, and the VS usually 2 to 4 years. So it's probably why they call it 3-star brandy, 3 years, average of 3 years. A star for each year, get it? And this is average about 5 years. But that's not a legal thing. VS, V.S.O.P, XO, that's just what companies use. Sometimes they'll have 10-star brandies. What does that mean? It means it's marketing. It may not mean a thing. But anyway, bottled by IWA Distilling of Kentucky, which is an alias of Sazerac, the Buffalo Trace Company. So they like to use these alias names to cover up who's making it. But all you got to do is you can look at, there's a United States government list of assumed names, like all the names that companies register with, and they're allowed to do that. And so they'll say Sazerac Company, and then it's Buffalo Trace, also known as Buffalo Trace, County Line Distillers, the IWA Distilling, the Founders Company, Barton Distilling, Fleischmann's Distilling, Glenmore Distilling, and so forth. So I think it's over 50 aliases. And Beam Suntory does the same thing. Now they've put their bourbons under a umbrella called the James B. Beam Distilling Company. Beam Distilling Company, because they're trying to kind of step away from that Suntory name, because Americans say Japanese, they want it to be like it's all American, you know what I'm saying? Okay. Even though it's more Japanese than American as far as the ownership. Beam Suntory is I guess I have enough here for one more taste challenge. Beam Suntory, I'll get it right. Beam Suntory is a subsidiary of the Suntory Company. There we go. Haven't even tasted any brandy yet. Okay, well, as you can see, the Martell is much darker. It's deep mahogany. Now, could they be adding color into it? Yeah. Don't know if they are. Doesn't say anything about no color added. Seems kind of dark for a 3-year-old product. This one here, we know they have coloring added because they tell you that on the bottle. Now I give Buffalo Trace Sazerac credit for one thing. I know they put out a lot of low end stuff. There's no doubt about it. They make a lot of money off. They probably make more money off the low end stuff than off the Blantons and the Eagle Rare and the, you know, the Weller and all of that. Well, Weller's like mid grade. Come on, focus. But they're pretty good about telling you if it has coloring added or flavoring added. So they're good about that. They'll shoot straight on that. There we go. The only thing they're cagey about is the saying who produces it on the label. You know, like I say, all these alias names. But all the beer companies do that too. You know, like the Blue Moon Brewery. And a lot of people think the Blue Moon Brewery is a separate brewery. And I've heard people say, it's just not the same since Coors bought them out. I say, whoa, 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 whoa. There was no buyout. There was never a Blue Moon Brewing Company. It was conceived by, created by, executed by, you know, developed by, owned by Coors Brewing from the get-go. It was never a separate company. But it seemed like it was. See, it's like Michelob. Same thing. People say, well, after Anheuser-Busch bought Michelob, it was, you know, whatever. I said, no, they didn't buy Michelob. I know the bottle says the Michelob Brewing Company. Forget that. They started Michelob in 1896 as simply a gourmet, more of a gourmet brand, a higher little specialty brand, you know, a higher level. It was later on to try to pretend like it was a separate company, but it wasn't. Okay, so enough of that. So you got to understand it happens all the time. Well, it's like Martell. If you read the Martell website, you say, oh, that's a great company. It's an independent owned company, but it isn't. It's owned by some big, huge company. I can't remember who it is. Pernod Ricard, maybe. I can find out easily, but yeah. To be fair, it probably operates as a separate company. A cognac distillery, they do their thing over there. They have a parent company. They probably don't interfere with their operations, and they just able to chug along as a real company. You know what I'm saying? Not just a made up name pretending to be a company. Mm-hmm. Kind of like Goose Island Brewing. You know, it's an actual brewery in Chicago, and they do a lot of independent operations, but they're not totally independent. If you call about a customer concern, the phone's gonna answer in St. Louis, Missouri, and a lot of their, you know, regular stuff like the 312 wheat ale and the Goose Island IPA, that's brewed all over the United States at various Anheuser-Busch breweries like Baldwinsville, New York. So it's definitely been farmed out. Now, of course, there's specialties like the Bourbon County brand stout. No, that's still at the original place. Smell like spicy grapes. Same old thing. Spicy grape skins. And this smells like that too, but with flavoring added, such as, I think, vanilla and orange peel. Can't prove it. We'll never be able to prove it, because that's a like Sazerac calls it, a proprietary blend of flavorings or single flavors. They're not. In other words, it's private. It's secret. It's like the Kentucky Fried Chicken spices. You could try to figure out what they are, but they never will officially say it. It's a secret recipe locked in a vault somewhere, just like the Coca-Cola secret recipe. So yeah. So this is the Martell, and that's the Classic Club, and I got that right. I got it correct on aroma only. Okay, now, so that wasn't much of a challenge, but let's go to the part where we do the actual tasting. I mean, I knew you could tell by the aroma, you just know that fast, you got it. But it makes sense. $8.49 versus $40.99. kind of, not too close. 8 times 5 is 40. Of course, it's 50 cents. So you're not going to get 5 bottles for the price of one, but you can get 4 for the price of one and have money left over. 4 bottles for the price of one. So that would mean is the Martell 4 times better plus a remainder, with some leftover. We're about to find out. About to find out. There's daylight out there, but it's obscured by clouds, like that 1972 Pink Floyd album. Obscured by clouds, music from the movie Love Ali. Pink Floyd album nobody's ever heard of, but all Pink Floyd fans should hear because one of their best albums, maybe, definitely one of the best. Okay, so what we have here is a fairly pleasant product. I can't say, oh, it's so nasty, it's so cheap, it's trash, I hate it. No, I don't hate it. I'm not gonna sit here and say you got to run out and buy it though. Oh, it's like, oh, I'm into brandy. Oh, it's one of those you just got to try if you're into brandy. No, you don't ever have to try it. If you skipped over it, you have lost nothing. So Martell VS, definitely the winner. They got that Martell. I was saying it was Remy Martin, but it's actually Martell V.S.O.P. at the doggone at Mathern's for $24.99. Can you believe that? That is an amazing price when you consider that most stores got the VS for $40.99. I almost want to buy it, but I got so much stuff. But that would be like outrageous. The Blue Swift, that's that one aged in bourbon barrels. They can't call it. They used to call it cognac, but they can't call it that anymore because it violates the rules of cognac. So it says a spirit made of cognac, V.S.O.P. I mean, in everybody's mind, it's just a cognac. Okay, so no one's going to consider anything but cognac. But since it technically isn't, they're going to have to say a spirit made of cognac, V.S.O.P. It's like those bourbons with natural flavors. You say, oh, you can't add natural flavor to bourbon. Okay, so they say, well, it's not a flavor bourbon. We know that's illegal. It's a bourbon with natural flavors. You say, well, what? All right, Cordon Bleu. That's very expensive. XO, Cordon Bleu Extra. You better be ready to pay all kind of money, like thousands of dollars for the Chanteloup XXO. The Lord de Jean Martel Gold. Now, it's going to cost so much money, it ain't even funny. The money ain't funny. Okay, Martell V.S.O.P. That's what they've got. Man, how could they sell it so cheap? That's 4 to 6 years. Let's see real fast. Total Wine and More, what they got it for. My friend David said, you talk too much. You're letting information out, and then the people are going to go buy it underneath you. Well, I don't need everything anyway. $54.99. 25 times 2 is 50, so I'm getting it for more than half off. Yeah, it's gonna be hard to resist that. It'll probably be gone by the time I decide to buy it. Madness. All right. Yeah, It's not even created to be a sipper. It's created to be a cocktail brandy. This Martell BS cognac, 3-star. But man, it's good. I'll tell you what, it is so nice. You could taste the wood, the liquor saturated oak, the wood, the spicy grapes. It's all together great. And why wouldn't it be? It's been around since 1715. That's over 300 years of expertise. This company knows what they're doing. It is wonderful. It's like up there with the Courvoisier, the Hennessy, the Remy Martin. It's one of those classics. You say, well, everybody doesn't love it. That's true. But then go and read all the reviews, and you're going to see like one negative and then 100 more positive and one negative. You got people that some people just go after big companies. It doesn't matter. They don't like them. Whatever it is, they're just going to hate it. Beer reviews, same thing, You get these scores that are totally not related to reality. It might be a regular old average beer. You understand, like Coors Banquet. Coors beer, people say, oh, well, it's just average, It's, it's just like normal. It's just normal. It's not anything special. Fine. Well, then score it appropriately. But then you get people on there give it a 2 out of 100. Come on, man. And they say, I'd rather dump it out. I will dump it out. I'll drain pour it. Why? You that special that you can't drink regular things? Or you just showing off so everybody be impressed? Maxwell says, good morning, Ronald. Good morning to you, Maxwell. Peace to you. Peace to the world. All right. So, to me, Martell's great. Even though it's regular, you know what I'm saying? It's regular. It's ordinary, but it's great ordinary. No, I mean, okay. Now, Classic Club. A, it ain't a classic, and B, you don't have to be in a club to buy it. You know what the dues are to join the Classic Club? The cost of the bottle. That's the dues. And it's a one-time thing. And you got a lifetime membership. Well, you have to renew it by buying another bottle when it's gone. Huh? It's like Food Club. You can buy their products at the store. Food can, green beans or whatever. The price of admission is paying for the product. I'm a member of the Rogue Nation. Rogue Brewing. Remember them? They used to be popular. What did I have to do to join the Rogue Nation? Sign up. Okay, no dues. This is fine, but it's a little rough relative to that. It's got some little roughness to it. Little bit. It's not burny, though. It's not particularly harsh, even. It just got a little rumpleness, a little roughness to it, like sandpaper. But it's okay. It's nice. It has its own little approachability. The main complaint, it doesn't have much flavor. That's really it just doesn't have a lot. It's not what you're tasting is bad. It's just that you say, well, there's no taste. Generally, yeah. Why do you think they add natural flavoring? That's why, to give it a little tweak to help it out. Because it's so low grade. I mean, $8.49 a bottle. There's not much to start with. So it's just like barely making it, so they add to it. And it probably would take 4 bottles of this to equal the Martell. But you said, but I'm into quantity, man. I'd rather get the 4 bottles. Okay. That's cool. Eight times 4 is 32, or $1.98 more. $1.96 more, sorry. Not even at $34 yet. And you got 4 full bottles of brandy. But it'd be very utilitarian. I mean, don't bring it to a wedding. Serve it later at the wedding reception when everybody's had all their toasts and everything. Now they're just trying to hustle your free liquor. Yeah, then serve it. They won't care by that point. It's kind of like in the Bible when Jesus turned water into wine. By the time he did that, nobody was caring about the wine quality. They said we out of wine. And the person planning the wedding reception was probably like so embarrassed, like, we ran out of wine. And you know the people are gonna want more because they're there for their free hustle wine, you know. But then Jesus turned water into wine, and everybody was astounded. If you remember the story, they were like amazed. They said, wait a minute, because they tasted it. They said, this man saved the best wine to last. But usually they put the best wine out first, and then after everybody's well drunk, they're not going to notice, you know, they just don't notice the quality drop. So they were stunned that at the end of the reception, the man is serving the best wine because they didn't realize he had turned water into wine. And, you know, of course, God is not going to serve substandard, only the best. But it was an interesting story that teaches you about how nothing ever really changed, because they do that today at a wedding reception, and they did it 2,000 years ago at a wedding reception. You know, do that switcheroo. BC's Beer Reviews, BC's Beer Reviews, regardless of if it's a bottle or a can, he's going to review the beer. Good morning, Ron. Good morning to you, BC, and thanks for joining last night with that Two-Hearted Ale, now known as Two-Hearted IPA. So, you could start off with Martell V.S. I mean, come on, if it's a wedding, start off with at least Remy Martin V.S.O.P. That's cool. You can do that. Because you're going to be at the, you know, you're going to be at the Rotary Hall Club or the Knights of Columbus Hall where they're going to have the reception, you know, and they got all decorated. And you have people do at these receptions. And then later on, after they, around the time they cut the groom's cake. I never eat that. I can never stand to stay around that long, you know. There's only so much finger food I can stand to eat from these caterers, you know. It's usually not very good. But so then you serve the Classic Club V.S.O.P. and nobody will care. All right, you're welcome, Ron. It was fun last night. It really was. And that was Joker's Wild Wednesday, y'all. So I'm actually going to a Knights of Columbus banquet this month. And I always kind of keep my eyes open to what they're serving. And it'll be in a whole array, you know. It'll be, you know, mid-range wines, a lot of them from Louisiana. It'll be like Riverboat Red. Riverboat Red is kind of like, I don't know, from Missouri or something, but it's pretty good. And then they'll have, you know, the regular Jack Daniels, Jim Beam. Oh, well, you know, Kettle One, naturally Crown Royal, all the same old stuff. All right. Then they make some kind of punch and they add vodka to it. I'm sure they're using maybe a cheap one. Like Taka or something. That's cool. All right. Anyway, well, y'all take care. And the winner, the clear and present winner is Martell VS, but then who in the world thought it wasn't going to be? And next time we come around, maybe Saturday morning, yeah, the Armbusters will do another French brandy. Not quite as old, but it's called Saint Remy, and as we say it, but Saint Remy French brandy. That's part of Remy Martin, but it's the French brandy part. Remy Martin is the cognac part, and Saint Remy is the French brandy part. It's the same company, but it's separate. You say, well, cognac is French brandy. I know, but it's a specific type. And then anything they don't make in the cognac region is the Saint Remy, which is pretty dang good. Got to tell you right now. All right, y'all take care now.